A massive thank you to Dave, Adolfo, Mateus, Wyatt and Lou Fang for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we're here with the sprint race from round 21 of season 3 of the F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here in Sao Paulo, of course, pretty much now caught up with the real world of Formula 1. Of course, at the time of recording this, Abu Dhabi hasn't happened yet, but by the time you're watching it, the race have already happened and everything like that. I don't quite think we're going to see 2021 2.0, but you never quite know in the world of Formula 1. But I just want to say as well, a massive thank you to all of you for the insane and continued support. We've ticked off 90,000 subscribers, the last big goal, of course. 100k still the aim by the end of the year. It's going to be tough. I think we're going to get quite close. But yeah, certainly if you're not already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed for daily Formula 1 related content. But, of course, quickly as well, we are going to be keeping the sprint race and the main event separate on these videos. The Brazilian GP will go live tomorrow, but as of Season 4, we are going to be combining them into one video like we've done with the Haas Road to Glory. But I thought just for the sake of continuity, we'll keep it as we have done for the final couple of races of Season 3. Championship-wise, 30 points. The gap between ourselves and Valtteri Bottas. If you missed out on the video from last weekend in Mexico, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. The Constructors' Championship as well is looking very close. 51 points separate the top 3 teams as well. So that could go down to the wire next weekend out in Abu Dhabi as well. But yeah, we've been on quite a good run of form as a team recently. Fingers crossed that can continue as we head into this weekend. But I'm yet to win a sprint race on F1 22. This might be our best chance of doing that ever in this game. Let's get into it. Brazilian GP weekend. Well, here we are then back at Interlagos, of course, the scenes of Mercedes first, and well, you guys will know whether it's their only victory of 2022. George Russell, a fantastic weekend just a couple of weekends ago here, but yeah, we're hoping that Hamilton can try. Well, in the perfect world, he'll finish runner-up to myself. Of course, didn't quite happen last time in Mexico. Hamilton had his reasons, apparently, and he believed that he deserved that race victory. And of course, you know, we like to battle with just about everyone on the grid, but if we lose, like I said, if we lose this championship by less than 7 points, that's going to be quite uncomfortable as Hamilton retires from the end from Formula 1 at the end of this year. But jumping in with track acclimatization lap first of all, a horrible run down at the bottom of the Assetto Corsa. But we'll see what we can do this session. At the final corner to finish off my first lap, it's not going to be a purple score, but it should be, yeah, it's comfortably going to be green. Let's see if we can try and get purple. Well, out of the final corner once more then. This one's going to be very close. Whether we're going to pick up the green or the purple score, don't really think I can do much better than this. And I think it is only going to... No, we should be purple. That should be purple. There we go. By 10 points, we just clutch up. That's right, Mark. We've nailed it. Right, tyre wear program up next then. Often, of course, Brazil, not a particularly bad track for tyre wear when you get into the Grand Prix itself, but there's always the worry in these free practice programs that maybe EA and Codemaster is expecting something very different to what I'm planning to achieve in these programs. But we'll wait and see what we can do. And the Assetto Corsa and into turn 4, actually able to hit the apex that time around. You really can take a lot of curb around so much of this circuit. Well, apparently we're meant to be getting rain in qualifying as well, so might just have to whack on a little bit of extra aero as we head into Friday night qualifying. But round in the final corner, this is going to be a comfortable purple score as well. So building up confidence early on in the weekend. We've come out of the gate strong. Let's fingers crossed we can get the car qualified right at the front of the field. Of course, with it being a Friday night qualifying session, we only get 3 sets of tyres. Of course, have to carry the extra ones into the GP. I think, yeah, no, in Q3, I mean, we should be making it into Q3. Of course, we will get the 1 extra set. So, yeah, in the perfect world, we'll make it through Q1 and Q2 on just a single run. But often, you know, sort of first lap in qualifying, you're getting used to the grip levels, everything like that. But, like we said, there is still changeable conditions predicted. The sky's looking very overcast here in Q1, so we'll wait and see what we can do with those. Again, really, I'm loving turn 4 at the moment. The car's just so set, so settled with these chassis upgrades. Try saying that 5 times over Gasly, though, sets the pace on a 108.8. We should hopefully be a lot quicker than the Williams man. This purple through the middle sector will go there. I mean, I'm not expecting this time to be the fastest we see in Q1, but as long as we're quicker than the bottom 6, that's kind of all that really matters to me. Is that the final corner will go up towards the start-finish line. Should be pretty good, a 106.9. Quicker than Verstappen, that's a good sign, surely. And there we go, then the end of Q1. Hamilton fastest on a 106.5 there, but Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari all right in the swing of things early on in the weekend. But reassuring to know the cars, as always, has still got pace. No, Latifi out in Q1. That hasn't happened in a few Grand Prix, but still weirdly isn't that much of a surprise either. Right, we're heading out into Q2 then. We're going to let a few other cars just set their runs first of all, but no sign of the rain just yet. So it might be just coming in right towards the end of Q3. Maybe we could get some drama in the final qualifying sessions. But yeah, we need now to be gunning the mid-106s. Of course, those are the top times that all the fast drivers are going to be setting. Of course, Valtteri Bottas still the one that we're most focused on. We need to outscore Valtteri every single race still. I know I keep saying it, but it is a big, big push between now and the end of the year. 30 points over 2 Grand Prix weekends. I mean, luckily we've got the sprint race to hopefully give us a few extra points, but it's going to be such a tall order. It does entirely come down to what Valtteri does, as much as what I can manage. Of course, it's very, very easy to look back at mistakes like in Mexico late on in the day that cost us a good chance at the victory, but, you know, you've got to put those things behind you. Purple through the middle sector as we head back up the hill once more. Like I said, we have got a slightly more downforce focus setup as well this weekend, so fingers crossed we can carry ourselves through qualifying. 6.8 that time. Puts us P6 for now, but probably not particularly safe. Right, well, 1 minute left on the clock, and a handful of other cars have joined us back out on the circuit. It's just not worth the risk at the moment. We'll head out for one final lap here and see how much more time we can try to find. Hamilton on a 106.3, so Lewis might be calling it quits on his F1 career at the end of the year, but he is still absolutely ruthless over one lap anyway, as I mean, we're half a second away from him. How much closer can we get this time around? Really nice run through the centre. Actually, really got to try and let the car slide through turn 2 there and open up the apex for turn 3, half-tenth up as we head down into sector 2 there, attacking the curves again quite nicely, but really now having to leave nothing on the table. We're definitely still learning more and more about what the car can handle around here, but we're still going to be a couple of tenths away from Lewis as we head out of the final corners up towards the line. Team expecting rain, but that's going to be a 6.6 P3 at the end of Q2, but we're going to need a massive worldie of a lap if we want pole. And there we go though, Hamilton fastest, but we were still clear of Valtteri Bottas there. He's only down in P9 at the end of Q2 there. Neither Mercedes making it into Q3 either after Alpine had a really, really good run there. But yeah, Hamilton fastest ahead of Verstappen and myself. Hopefully we can start on the front row at the very least, but will we be able to edge out Lewis? Or is the rain going to play havoc anyway? Well, it's been made very, very clear that we're going to see a qualifying session similar to what we did in real life 2022 here in Brazil, Q3. The rain has arrived and it's just going to get heavier and heavier. Unlike real life, we're definitely going to need to be on the intermediate tyres there, unlike what everyone realised in the real Grand Prix weekend, of course, apart from Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. But yeah, the rain is just meant to get worse and worse as qualifying goes on. So this might end up being one-shot quali, unless the rain tapers off towards the end of the session. We couldn't quite get a look. Might well be one of the most important qualifying laps I do on F1 22. Gotta try and start right up towards the front of the field here in Interlagos, and we can only hope that Bottas maybe ends up a bit further down the roster, but it's going to be the Alpine that starts their lap first. Could this be the miracle that they want towards the end of the year? But we need to really concentrate to get the lap in. That is a lot of curve through turn 2. Just a back end snapped out. We're kind of had to go with it. so many mistakes as the laps unfolded here as we head out of Zhongzhou. Heading back up towards the start-finish line. I don't know which Alpine it is. Esteban Ocon could be on for his first pole ever in Formula 1. We've got enough fuel to go for another one. But we were so far away from the Alpine there. 8 tenths back as, there you go, Daniel Ricciardo into the 14s. So the track is definitely evolving, but are we going to be able to find anything more? Hamilton there goes even faster. Up onto pole position for our teammate, but that was an appalling lap by ourselves under pressure. We've just got nothing. We've got nothing at all at the moment there. The AI just seem to be able to find grip that I cannot around this circuit. And worst of all, Bottas is the one that's gone fastest there. We'll let Lewis by. Why are you slowing down for me, mate? But that might be a really, really bad end to qualifying here. We have got to try and hope that the track dries off a bit. 20 seconds left to qualifying, though. I mean, this is just a desperate attempt to try and hope that maybe there's a little bit more grip on the circuit. If that's even if we get back to the start-finish line in time, should be good. 10 seconds left on the clock. But what a frustrating end to qualifying here at Interlagos. Just the AI on changeable conditions seem to be able to just have so much extra grip in comparison to what you can do. It seems to be more of a bug prevalent in my team, but I mean, yeah, we're gonna just try and hope we can find anything, but not convinced we're going to be any higher than P10. Look at that, through the final couple of corners we were a good half a second up, but it's all come away from us. Track just too wet to do anything, nothing, no grip or feel whatsoever at the final corner, and we're going to be down by another couple of tenths there, so we're not even going to find any more time. That is so frustrating at the end of qualifying, and I'm pretty certain, worst of all, Bottas is on pole. Well, there we go then, the worst possible scenario there. Bottas got the lap in early on. He will start from pole here at Interlagos. So we're going to be starting down in P10. I think even if we nailed that final lap, we might just have got Lando Norris, but never was going to be quick enough to try and get up the order. It's going to have to be a lot of risk. Let's get into it. Brazilian GP sprint race. Even if we can just get close to Bottas and only lose a couple of points to start strong for the main event tomorrow, we have just got to go all out here at Brazil. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Joe, Ocon, Norris and Mr. Monaco, Russell, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher and Albon, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Nicholas Latifi and Lance Stroll, Magnussen, Drugovich, Ticktum and Robert Schwartzman. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready in Brazil, and you know what, straight away, we're going soft tyres for this one. We need to be aggressive in this sprint race here. Fingers crossed we can try and get a good result. I'm tempted. No, we're running still fairly low wings, so I'm not going to worry too much about trying to bring those any further down. You know, we need to be able to stick close to cars through the middle sector. We know how quick this thing can be now down the straights, but yeah, like I said, we've got to take a lot of risk today. We've got to try and get as close to Bottas as we can. I think the goal this weekend is just to make sure we're in a position where we can still fight for the title in Abu Dhabi, but we need more and more miracles every single week. I mean, as well, we've really got to hope that Hamilton can come in clutch today. He was very, very quick in the dry in all of Friday running. It was just Bottas got the lap hooked up in the slippery conditions, so fingers crossed Lewis can try and move himself back to the front of the grid. I mean, it would be a miracle for us to beat Bottas here, but we can certainly still dream. Starts are not my strong point on F122, as I'm sure you're all aware. But again, we are on slightly softer tyres, so fingers crossed we can try and get a miracle. Let's do this thing. Brazilian GP sprint race, 12 laps ahead of us, 36 again tomorrow. We've got plenty of time to try and get ahead of Valtteri Bottas, but I need to do it ideally as soon as possible here. Just waiting on Dan Tickton to line up at the rear of the field. Let's get into it then. Make sure we focus on the start 5 red lights. And it is going to be lights out and away we go, and just can't do anything as we head up the hill off the launch. It's not what we want to hear down at turn 1, and we also didn't want to lose a couple of places there, but we'll try and get a run down the centre S. As it looks like Bottas still leads the way ahead of Charles Leclerc as we head down the Escudo Lago. Hamilton's gone backwards as well, so Hamilton straight down into P4 there, I think behind Sergio Perez, as Yuki Tsunoda try and line up a move on George Russell, but we've got to try and get these soft tyres up to temperature as soon as we can as we head back up the hill in towards Ferradura. We might be able to have a look for a move into the next corner, make sure we don't do what Ricciardo did, and there we go, up the inside of Yuki Tsunoda immediately, trying to pick up spots early on, especially against some of the slower cars here. Like I said, today we cannot afford to take any prisoner there. As around the outside of George Russell, not quite going to be able to find the pace that time, and is plunging back down the hill in towards the final corners of this opening lap. Let's just see what the top end speed is like there. As you can just see, able to hang so close to Russell with the extra grip provided by those super soft rear tyres, but doesn't look like we've got much extra top end speed over the Mercedes at the moment. In fact, we haven't got any extra top end speed at all. What we have got though is confidence on the brakes, and George Russell apparently not having any of that through turn 1, but we will get round the outside through turn 2. Because it's certainly a dive bomb, but I felt like we were alongside far enough early enough that he should have given us some room. As here comes George Russell again at turn 4 though. He's going to try and return the favour, and again even more contact between myself and the Mercedes man, but this time around we hang on. Top 4 already breaking free, but we're still down in 10th as yellow flags out. Someone with some issues, I think it's a car behind us though. It's George Russell, already by the looks of it might be out of the Grand Prix there, so all of that was pretty irrelevant between myself and the Mercedes man. George Russell out of the sprint. Bottas new fastest lap of the day, of course, as we start lap 3. Looks like the top 4 have been able to make a bit of a breakaway there, so Esteban Ocon has had a good start to move up into P5, but yeah, we've just got to try and slice and dice our way through, use these soft tyres, and now of course we've got DRS as well. Hopefully he'll give us a helping hand. So here we go, using the extra grip of the soft compound tyres there and the higher downforce concept that we're running, and the outside of Lando Norris through the middle sector, and that'll mean now we've started making some forward progress in this sprint race there. Doesn't look like Leclerc's got an answer to Bottas early on, as Zhou Guanyu and Daniel Ricciardo just in front of Sergio Perez here, so interesting to see the groups that are forming. Of course, those top 4 cars, 4 different power units, 4 different teams, everything like that. Perez is so fast down the straight. We definitely should have brought down that front wing by a couple of extra clicks. What we have hopefully got though is a lot more confidence through this middle sector there, as you can just see how much closer we rock up to the back of Perez. Whoa! Almost into the back of Zhou Guanyu even, I should say. But we do pick up the move on Checo there, now up into the points paying position, so every place now means we lose out slightly less to Valtteri Bottas in the grand scheme of things. But next up we got his teammate, and I'm sure again Zhou Guanyu will be told just to defend for all his worth against us, but I'm hoping the young Chinese driver is not going to get much of a say on the matter. It's been quite interesting, of course. Bottas, so successful throughout the entirety of this campaign, still yet to see Zhou Guanyu win a race this season in that second McLaren. He's even won a race for Alpha in the Haas Road to Glory, but nothing for McLareners. Thank you very much. LVP7 then, and the easiest move I've made so far. Next up, Daniel Ricciardo. Zhou Guanyu there. I'm sure McLaren won't be happy with that. We've got more yellow flags out though, someone else having issues, and that's Sergio Perez then. So it's all kicking off early on there as Trying to look who that was, just running a little bit wide down the bottom of the hill. Perez out of the Brazilian GP sprint as well, so clearly Mercedes and Red Bull taking a lot of gambles with reliability, and they are not paying off. Let's see if we can try and get a move done on Ricciardo through this middle sector. Again, like I said, we want to be able to try and stick close to the AI. At the inside of the Ferrari, Ricciardo will spot us, and he knows what's at stake for me at the moment, taking no prisoners. I'm at a P6 then. Early on here, as Esteban Ocon now, the car just in front. He, of course, won't have any DRS to try and defend himself. We might make it 3 overtakes in a single lap then, as we head back up the hill out of the final couple of turns. Back towards turn 1, we should start gaining on the Alpine, but just not that much at the moment, as we can inch closer to the halfway stage of this GP. Can we try and get a run down in towards turn 4? Stick right into the rear wing of the Alpine. We've got to, like I said, we've got to be decisive with these moves there. To the inside of Esteban Ocon, who's going to try and squeeze me. Gives me some... Ocon? You can't just turn across when I'm there, mate. P5. Now ours, though, but 5 seconds to the cars in front. It's going to be a tall order by the end of this, but we are feeling quick. It's the problem, though. Of course, the DRS is so effective around Interlagos that effectively we're just trying to outmatch Bottas, but all those other cars able to stay quite close to him, but I just don't think Charles Leclerc has got enough in that Ferrari to really hassle the McLaren. We're not taking much time out of any of them, but we are still in clear air. And simply put, if we're just trying to race Bottas's pace here at Interlagos, we are fractionally quicker, but nowhere near enough at this stage of the day. Don't really care what's going on with Lando Norris, to be honest, Mark, but you just need one of those front runners to have some issues, or for Charles Leclerc to really pull his finger out and start battling Valtteri. Surely there's a little bit of tension between them after their championship battle last year. Surely Charles Leclerc wants to give me a hand. Yeah, and I think now we're starting to see the crossover between the soft tyres being better than the mediums as well. I knew we had to take this gamble early on, just try and push ahead of a lot of those midfield cars, but when we saw the gap that had opened up to the top 4, I kind of wondered whether we'd just be confined to P5 here. Charles Leclerc is getting a bit closer to Bottas each lap, but yeah, unless he can really get a run on him, it's not going to happen. Bottas is going to score maximum points from the sprint, and we're going to lose a handful to him. And now we've got a DRS failure as well. That's always helpful. Love to see that. I'll start the final lap then here for the Brazilian GP sprint race. Safe to say the opening half of the Grand Prix was very exciting. The second half has been very, very lonely here, as it looks like Valtteri Bottas will still have enough top-end speed to keep the Ferrari at bay. But yeah, whatever advantage we had a couple of weekends ago at Kota, very, very quickly has been evaporated here. Such a development race going on between these big 4 teams, and just nothing we can really do about it at the moment. Now McLaren have got so much resources behind them, and Valtteri Bottas, he's just a changed driver since he left Mercedes a couple of seasons ago. And yeah, we might have taken some good points out of him over the last couple of GPs, but here in Brazil, at least on Saturday, we're not going to be able to do anything about it. The gap is going to open back up to 35 points in the championship, so we need to outscore him by at least 9 tomorrow, which is by no means going to be an easy feat, considering the fact we're going to be starting behind him. And of course, he is looking very, very fast, so he can just sit behind us. Even if we manage to get to the front tomorrow, he could sit behind us and come away with P2 in his second World Championship as well. Now Valtteri Bottas up towards the line. He's going to win the sprint here from Interlagos. Charles Leclerc P2 ahead of Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton down in 4th place there. We're going to recover to 5th, but oh, it's painful.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's see how the driver's standings have changed. It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders, who lose ground at the top of the table. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye.
Well, there we go, then the end of the sprint race here from Interlagos, and we only lose 4 points rather than 5 to Valtteri Bottas there. Not that it makes it feel particularly easier, but it does mean if we got fastest lap and race victory tomorrow, irrespective of where Bottas comes. We could drag the championship out to Abu Dhabi next weekend there. But yeah, Bottas will be starting from pole tomorrow ahead of Charles Leclerc, Verstappen, Hamilton, and myself there. Don't think there were any other major surprises or big movers from that. Yuki Tsunoda did well, 12th to 9th there, of course, helped by a couple of mechanical failures as well there. Sergio Perez, George Russell, they're out of the picture, way down the order. But yeah, championship-wise, though, does mean Verstappen takes quite a few points out of his teammate once again, so there's still a big battle going on there inside Red Bull, but 34 points behind Bottas. 2 races to go of the season. It is such an incredibly daunting task, but we're not going to give up. We're going to give it our all. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, get yourselves subscribed as well, and we will return tomorrow ready for the Brazilian GP. You guys do not want to miss it. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.